Hello everybody, so I'm really sorry that I can't be with you today at the Inform Prize. It's one of those things that actually I really wanted to try and attend, but unfortunately I'm double booked. So it's a shame because I've been involved in the Inform Prize for 3 years now, and over those 3 years really seen some excellent projects, and I'm sure that today will not disappoint either. So for those who don't know me, my name is John Barrow. I am Dean for Employability and Entrepreneurship at the University of Aberdeen. And I wanted to just say a few words really about the kind of benefits of the prize, both to our students, to local organisations, and indeed to the kind of wider entrepreneurial ecosystem in the northeast of Scotland. So first and foremost, I think that this prize really offers a huge opportunity for our students. I think you'll see today that there'll be some amazing projects that are on display and some real passion and drive and entrepreneurial spirit that's being shown by our students, all from kind of computing and computing science disciplines. So for students really it offers those benefits of being able to work together, often in an interdisciplinary team, with others who maybe they're not too familiar with, and being able to deliver on a particular brief that has been set for them. And I think that is a real world experience that they can then take on into the world of work following their graduations with us. So it offers them the ability to take all of those entrepreneurial enterprising skills, teamworking skills, communication skills, really importantly, because that is ultimately the key aim of the Inform Prize. It kind of does what it says on the tin, in that it is about students being able to inform an audience, often non-expert audience. I include myself in that. I'm a biochemist by trade, so I know very little about computer science really. But being able to convey those that information, that important, really clear clarity on what they're actually trying to deliver in their product, in their development through the project that they've carried out, and indeed being able to, as I say, talk about this solution that they may have come up with in a very easy to understand and very clear way to the audience that is in front of them today. So I think the first thing is definitely the benefits to the students for those reasons. In terms of then engaging with the wider business community, events like this are really something that has been missed for the last couple of years really, and is something that offers that opportunity for students to engage with businesses, but equally those organisations to engage with our students and to get an idea of the talent that our students really possess, so that you can do that in a slightly informal setting such as today and have those networking opportunities. And that is really invaluable for both parties actually, so for both our students in terms of engaging with potential future employers, and indeed those future employers potentially engaging with new staff members of the future. So I think that's a real opportunity, and I'd absolutely encourage people to network as much as possible. So if you're a business and you see a student sat somewhere, go over and have a chat with them. If you're a student, go over and have a chat with someone that you've maybe never met before. Say hi, shake their hands, give them a high five or a fist bump, wherever you feel appropriate, and begin those conversations. I think that's really one of the major things about having events like today. And then in terms of the wider entrepreneurial ecosystem, I think one of the things that within the northeast of Scotland we're particularly good at is actually collaboration. I think a lot of that is driven by the geography and by the fact that we are, dare I say, slightly isolated in terms of our region, but it means that organisations, large organisations, educational organisations such as the universities, smaller businesses, and indeed individuals within the region can come together to talk about things and understand each other's problems and difficulties and challenges. And I think a key thing is maintaining a lot of this talent that we have, not just at the university, but across small businesses, large businesses, charities, any organisation really in the region, maintaining that talent here. And I know that we have various organisations that is their role and their remit, and certainly something I'm very passionate about, as are others at the university, where it's about keeping the talent in the northeast of Scotland rather than effectively having that brain drain where people leave and go elsewhere. because I think there are huge opportunities within the city and within the Shire, and actually more widely within Scotland and beyond. So hope you really enjoy today. Hope you get as much out of it as possible. As I say, I'm really sorry that I can't be there with you, but hopefully this time next year we'll be able to meet up in person. So thank you very much and enjoy your day.
Constantly thinking of what to eat is a tedious task, which, in one way or another, requires mental effort, and not everyone has the free time or the willingness to put it in. Our lives would be a lot easier if there was somebody to do all this instead of us, wouldn't it? There might be something that could do the work for you. Having a digital body that suggests what to eat, how to prepare it, its nutritional information, and what it contains can be a life changer for many people. It could make cooking fun and significantly minimize the time for thinking about the next meal. Our team has prepared, baked, and delivered such an application right to your doorstep. Meet Cook Today. Cook Today is a digital side chef your kitchen needs, packed with cool and powerful features that are hard to miss. The user interface is intuitive and easy to use, designed with inclusivity and yumminess in mind. Upon registering, users are asked to set their meal preferences. This survey powers the baked-in machine learning algorithm that finds the most suitable recipes for every user. Recipe recommendations are entirely personalized and show only the dishes that suit the user's taste the most. Cook Today currently features more than 500 recipes satisfying the appetite of every possible customer. We provide information about vital parts of recipes. Being your competent side chef, it is Cook Today's job to help you out whenever and wherever possible. The cooking session features take care of this. Tap a recipe you plan to cook, place your phone in a safe and comfortable position, and start preparing your ingredients. Cook Today will guide you through the journey of crafting your next meal. Where do you keep your favorite recipes? Saved in a folder even God can find? Random pieces of paper scattered across the universe of your home? Cook Today takes care of your collection with our cool cookbook feature. You can save and add recipes you like. We can even import your most cherished recipes into your personal cookbook. This is Cook Today. Smart, fun, delicious.
Bumpr is a service for listing cars for sale online. Sounds like nothing special. However, as we all know, the devil lies in the details. Our application is aimed specifically at young people and first-time buyers with a limited knowledge about motor vehicles and limited experience. These people, when opening a standard online marketplace with car adverts, could quickly face a heap of problems and unnecessary difficulties, as if buying a car wasn't already stressful enough. The first, and in our opinion the biggest one, is the question of what do I search for? For someone who has never owned a vehicle before, it can be really difficult to translate needs and expectations into a bunch of specifications and filters. For example, let us imagine we are a student with a limited budget, looking for a car to get around the city. But the third part is asking for a make, a model, and a year, not use or purpose. So we start looking through websites and articles stating the top 10 most affordable cars, or most reliable ones, or simply the best ones. We quickly notice the sponsored icon and suddenly realize the bias of those rankings. Wouldn't it be great if you could just describe your dream car and the service would put it into the language of specifications? That's how the idea behind Bumpr was born. A questionnaire, asking not which car do you need, but why do you need it? Is it a city car? Is it a road trip car? A going to the shops and back car? We wanted to give options that mean something real to the average user, unlike engine size or body configuration. We realized that existing car selling services perhaps unwillingly exclude a whole group of potential users, people without sufficient knowledge to actually use their service effectively. And since that group consists mostly of young adults, and thus people around our age, we decided to use a format that looks and feels familiar to us. One that wouldn't display 100,000 adverts on one page and ask us to choose one. A format that doesn't give us a headache when faced with every single filtering option on the page. A simple yes or no question, right or left. This way, with a sufficiently large dataset, we are also able to use a sorting algorithm based on what kinds of cards the user swipes right on the most. The service has also a simple and easy to use chat option to contact the seller directly. Filters are obviously still an option for those who are looking for a specific model, or for other options like changing the radius of the search. Similarly to a classic car selling portal, a user can access the details of the advert such as general description, pictures, and model specifications of the car by clicking the More button, represented by an arrow. What about people who are planning to sell their car? Why should they post on Bumpr? First of all, this system helps match the potential bias with sellers better. The seller's ad would not just disappear in the sea of other listings, but would be shown directly to users actually potentially interested in the car. For those who plan on keeping multiple adverts live at the same time, we have special membership options, with which, for a monthly fee, they can post an adequate number of adverts. For those, however, who want to sell only one car, the price depends on the time they choose to advertise for it. This could be a week, a month, or however long they need. However, we do recommend payment plans based on the average time needed to sell in the UK at the moment. In Bumpr, we believe in the power of simplicity and flexibility, of giving the customer the choice to provide exactly what they need. No clutter, no pop-up ads, no unnecessarily long lists of filters. Our main objective is to make the process of buying the car more accessible to everyone with any level of knowledge, experience, budget, or any other factor that could potentially make this process more difficult. We wanted to show that maybe your dream car is only a swipe away.
Using Taproom.
Hello, I'm Mikhail, and I'm here with Team Echo to introduce Munchpal, the hub for people that want to share food and go on culinary adventures together. The idea for Munchpal originates from a personal story. Back in my first year of university, together with my flatmate, I had to urgently leave Aberdeen and consequently leave a lot of food behind just to rot away. Thankfully, we had made local friends that gladly took what we had, but that got me thinking, would everyone be so lucky?
Mikhail was right. Not many have the same opportunity. In fact, out of everyone we asked on the street, every third person admitted to having thrown perfectly decent food away because they could not find a use for it before it expired. That is not really news for us, though. Food waste has been a significant economic and environmental issue for decades. This has worsened due to the ongoing pandemic situation, as stockpiling groceries and panic buying became a habit, and the psychological distress associated with it only amplified. What if all these people could easily find someone to share their food with? Of course, we are not the first ones to ask this question, but we didn't really like the way it is currently answered in industry. Existing applications are full to the brim with paid features and doubtful monetization practices. Those that connect people with supermarkets and restaurants have their limitation too. They impose strict windows of time to pick up an item, which is less than ideal for students and professionals. Finally, none of them address the socializing aspect inherent in wanting to help others and cook together.
Signing up on Munchpal is easy. We want people to start sharing as quick as possible, which is why we kept the registration procedure sweet and short. However, we care about security, so we still want people to verify they're real. Of course, there's plenty that can be adjusted later. A profile is highly customizable, and the user can include as many or as few details as they desire.
Let's take a look at how a user can create a listing. We will follow Khadija. Her flatmate left for a couple of weeks and left plenty of milk in the fridge. Unfortunately, Khadija is lactose intolerant and will just have to throw it all away. Or will she? With Munchpal, she can just let others know that it's up for grabs. That can be done with manual input, but we offer a much better choice. Khadija could instead use the helpful search bar that connects our users with one of the largest nutritional databases in the world. She can pick exactly what kind of milk it is and from which store it was bought. After supplying a few additional details and specifying the date of expiration, she's ready to add her listings to all others waiting to be shared. Other users can freely access Khadija's listing and see exactly what's inside the milk. It is important to stay healthy after all. Once someone decides that they like a product, they can simply contact Khadija and arrange a meeting.
This could never happen on Munchpal. We have a handy report feature that would keep all suspect individuals like that away from our platform. This is what actually happened. I met with Khadija, grabbed the milk, and we went our separate ways. It might not seem like much, but the accumulation of acts like this today can help save the planet tomorrow.
Similar to creating a product listing is the creation of an event. There are several distinct categories of events that can be created on Munchpal, all of which supporting a different initiative. Whether it's for teaching, competing, or helping, Munchpal brings people together. One useful feature to highlight is the ability to list necessary products. Some events might be impossible without a good steak, while others are all about plant alternatives. Whatever the case, this and much more can be specified in detail. The ability to organise events is incredibly important to us. Munchpal, the way it can be used today, was only made possible thanks to close collaboration that sparks countless ideas. When people are together, they are inventive, kind, energetic, and we want to leverage that and spread it across our communities. We hope that Munchpal will excite others about being active again and, in doing so, preserve food and leave a lasting impact.
The future is exciting for Munchpal. At the moment, we're focused on the Aberdeenshire area where we are based, but the natural evolution of that would be to ask users for their preferred municipality and show them only listings from that area. While Munchpal is a free service, there are still ways to make it a profitable venture. For example, once the user base expands, we could allow small restaurants and coffee shops to advertise special events on the platform. Unlike just any random advertisements, this goes hand in hand with our mission and extends our philosophy of connecting people. Another option is to use the software as a service white label model and sell Munchpal to organizations, allowing them to rebrand it. In that way, they will be able to foster a culture of food sharing between their employees, and we could also offer training and special features on a case-by-case basis. No matter what, one thing is clear: we're committed to tackling the problem of food waste in an ethical and conscious manner. We hope that you have enjoyed this presentation, and we cannot wait for you to try Munchpal out. See you soon!
Hi there, my name is Farhan Imad for Team 7 Foxtrot of year 2022 for the course CS3528 Software Engineering. Today we are going to be doing a demonstration of our application and of the reasons why we believe our application will stand out and be successful in today's day and age and will triumph over the competition. Our application is a social networking app called Squad Up. The way in which it works is that it'll be similar to things like Tinder and Bumble, where you can either swipe right on users that you wish to connect with and swipe left on users that you don't want to connect with and want to disregard. The way in which it works is that you'll select genres of gamings that you like, so if it be board games or survival, and then once you go on the start swiping now feature of our application, you'll be able to see other users who also have mutually liked genres with you in common. So you'll be able to see other users who have also liked board games similar to you. We believe our application will be far more successful than applications like Tinder and Bumble due to our more friendly monetization model. Tinder is known for hiding a lot of main features behind high-priced paywalls, such as Tinder Gold and Tinder Platinum. Our application does have a premium model for $5.99 a month, but we're very transparent about the features it offers to you. And even if you're a non-premium user, you are still allowed fundamental features such as being able to create a user profile, being able to match with, and being able to connect with other users. And there'll be no limit on the kind of message on the number of messages you can send to them. We believe that since our application is more so focused on social networking and on professional relationships compared to Tinder and Bumble, which is more focused on dating, that we won't accrue as much of a negative reputation over VS as those apps have. Tinder is kind of known as being quite sleazy and having a little bit of negative reputation. So we believe that our application will be far more successful than Tinder because it won't have that kind of reputation associated with it, we hope. So right now I'll be taking you through a little demonstration of all the main features and pages of our application. So this is the home page. I'll actually walk you through just how you'd go about creating a new user from a guest user. So if I go and log out here, this is what a guest user would see, and this is what you would first see upon entering the website. So you go on here and you go on to login, and then right now I've already typed in some information. This is a pre-made user I've already made, so I'm going to go on to there. Switch on to this one. So that's a pre-made user I've already made. So I'll go on to here. And this is the home page that I'll be able to see. Our home page, the way in which we've laid it out, is that we've tried to use simple and easy to understand color scheme, so it doesn't off-put or distract users from the main features of our and the main button placement of our application. So the way in which this works is that this is a genre list here. It's a grid, 3x3. Where you can see all the kind of genres that we offer currently right now. As the development of the application progresses, we definitely expect to offer more and more genres and more ways in which you can connect to people. So maybe more genres like third-person shooters, adventure games, that kind of thing. As our user base grows, we definitely will be looking into adding more and more genres like that. Unfortunately, the images haven't loaded up, but for actual public deployment of the application, we will make sure that issues like that are rectified. So the way in which this works is that there's drop-down menus here. So if I click on the arrow here, I can see a short little description of what that genre is in case you aren't aware of what board games are. So board games are tabletop games, that etc, etc. Same as survival. I see a little description of what that is, and so on and so on. Just in case you aren't familiar with that genre and you'd like to see a bit more of a description as to what it actually is. We also have here the start swiping now feature. This is what allows me to actually connect with and start seeing other users, but I'll demonstrate that to you in a little bit. This is also some links to our social media pages. So we have a Facebook page, a Twitter, an Instagram page, all linked in the footer. If you just click on the icons, it'll take you to the relevant pages and you'll be able to follow us on there. So yep, just follow us on there if you'd like to see any more updates and if you'd like to keep up to date with news as what's happening with the application. So I'll take you through to the profile page. The profile page will show you all the fundamental information relating to users, so your profile picture, your bio, your age, which you can edit easily here just by pressing this button. So if I want to, I can change my bio. I can also change the genres of games that I like by just using this menu. Same with my age. And then if I go onto here, I can see the message profile updated successfully. That means that any changes have now been reflected in the database. So importantly, this little genres list here, this indicates all the genres that I have liked right now in the green colors. Anything with a green background indicates that it's in my liked list. So I will also see other users in the application who also like board games, who also like survival, who also like RPG. I will be excluded from seeing users though who only like real-time strategy games. So I will not see any user that falls who just likes real-time strategy games. Because the way in which it works is that you need to have at least one genre in common with somebody else in order to be able to see them and in order to be able to actually connect and to speak with them. And also as well, we have another edit profile button here, so I can edit my username, my first name, my last name, or my email if I'd so like to. And the same full process here. This is a little age slider here. This is what allows me to set my preference for the kind of users I'd like to meet. So if I'd like to, I can meet the users from 38 to 69 if I'd like. So obviously this is at the discretion of you, and you can choose whatever value you'd like. So right now I'll set it back to 18 to 99 just so I can see anybody and everybody right now in the database. So if I'd like to, if I'm ready to, I can hit the start swiping now feature. So this will take me to the start swiping. This will take me to the page that I can actually start connecting with other users if I'd like to. So right now this is another user on the application, Darren R. I can see their username, their name, their age, and their bio. And also, most importantly, the common genres in common. So if I'd like to swipe right with them and if I'd like to connect, I can press here, the right button here. And same full process here. If I don't like this user, which I'm going to say I don't, I can go on left, and there'll be no chance of me connecting with that user. And obviously right now I've run out of users to connect with, so yeah, I cannot see any more. So right now as well, I'll take you through to the chat page. Obviously this is a new user, so I can't actually show you right now on this one, so I'll change user just really quick. And I'll show you what the actual chat page of our application looks like. So as you can see, obviously we have a link to the back to main page. That's back to the home page if you like. This also importantly, you can see a list of all the users that you have matched with. So this means that both of us have swiped right on each other and both of us have liked each other. So I can see Jared R's, I can see history of his chat and me, with me and him. So messages on the right hand side are ones I have sent to him, and messages on the left hand side are messages that he has sent to me, so received messages. And if I'd like to, I can type in a new message being like hello, and it'll be reflected and he'll be able to see it on his end. And the same process with the Farhan 212 user. This means obviously none of us have sent any messages to each other. So, but most importantly, I need to highlight as well for the premium version of our application, the way in which it works is that you will be matched to activities in your city that both of you can agree to go to. So, say if I like board games, for example, you'll probably be recommended places like the Games Workshop or gaming conventions, those kind of places, because we want the activities to correspond to genres that both of you have in common, if that makes sense. So, if I go and enable location, I can see that the message location enabled successfully. And then if I go Darrett R1000, if I press the see locations button, I'll see a list of all the locations that correspond to both of our like genres. So I'll see activities that correspond to board games, activities that correspond to sports games, so stuff like football games, football stadiums. Shooters would be things like laser tags and paintball we're making. So I'll go back to the main page and I'll show you the rest. And most importantly as well, we also have a VIP page. This is our premium. This is our premium model. So what this is that for the cost of £5 a month, you are able to have features such as unlimited swipes for location-based activities, like I mentioned, and you'll also be able to see a list of all the users who have also liked you. So you'll be able to decide if you'd like to connect with them based on the fact that they've already liked you, if you please. So I think that is everything. That is all the actual fundamental features of the application. We are active on things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So if you'd like to message us there, if you'd like to kind of give us any kind of feedback as to other features you'd like to see in the application, please do let us know. Obviously, some features aren't quite implemented 100% like how we'd like. We haven't had a lot of time, especially with other modules and with other life commitments for us as developers. But we hope to be able to implement all the kind of necessary features to make this a really successful application in the future. So if you'd like to, just please leave any comments in the comment section for either YouTube or just message us on Instagram or social media and we'll get back to you. But for now, that will be everything. Thank you so much.
Social interactions are one of the highest causes of anxiety amongst teens and young adults. Meeting new people and growing friend groups is seen as a daunting task, especially for those moving into a new city for university. In today's world, it is important that we're looking after our health, both physical and mental. Lack of human interaction can leave anyone feeling lonely and down. With all the stress of difficult university degrees and tight deadlines, sometimes the strain of low human interaction can be the straw that breaks the camel's back. This is all made magnitudes worse by the difficulty in making friends. Having pointless conversations with people that don't interest you generally go nowhere and only waste your time, taking precious time away from having more enjoyable conversations with people who you can more easily relate with. This is why we have developed a new and unique application, free for all university students. Introducing Meep, a brand new, spontaneous social platform. Our goal with Meep is to take the burden of finding possible friends off the shoulders of the students across the country. We aim to assist students by providing them with people with similar interests to help make the friend-making process more smooth sailing. Meep gives students the ability to meet people with similar interests right away, encouraging spontaneous meetups and activities, allowing people to easily grow their friend groups through providing them with plenty of profiles that have similar interests to them. This takes a huge burden off of people, as they won't need to try as hard to come up with ideas of what to talk about when meeting someone new. With Meep, you can see what interests other people have, so you'll always know what to start chatting about without having to worry about boring others with things they just don't like. As a user, you can customize your own profile to reflect your own personality, create your very own unique avatar and select interests that suit you the best. Head over to our search page to find people that share interests with you to strike up a conversation with confidence. Or turn on location mode to find those who are nearby and willing to go on a spontaneous adventure. Once you've found others with similar interests, don't be afraid to strike up conversations. The goal here is to find people that you can casually chat to about your common interests. And when you think it's time, ask to meet up. After all, that is what the app is all about. Many other social apps centered around making new friends make use of a swipe-like feature. Swiping spawns negativity, and Meep chooses not to create friendships based on looks, but on common interests and likes. So our search page gives a list of every person in the area signed up to Meep who's looking for new friends, and details their interests that are similar to yours in order to find the best possible match for new friends. The most unique factor about Meep is that we encourage spontaneous meetups and activities. Many other apps out there don't encourage this, and as a result, many possible friendships simply die out as people just lose the motivation to continue chatting over glorified messaging apps. Meep completely turns the tables here by actively encouraging meetups through our nearby feature. This enables users to find people who are nearby when they're looking for someone to do something with, whether it be go bowling, ice skating, going to the movies, or simply just to hang out. No one should have to endure the social anxiety faced by so many. Human interaction is a basic need, and a lack of it can be harmful to us. That is why we decided to go down this path of developing a whole new app, taking the positives from many existing apps and adding our own unique take to make the best possible experience when making new friends. With Meep, we aim to make your life better.
Meet Max. Max loves going to all sorts of events, especially live music. As he's walking around university, he spots a number of posters advertising events he'd like to attend. Max wants to make sure he's got all the right details so he doesn't miss out on any of them. But writing it all down himself takes ages, and it isn't long before his friends get bored waiting around for him and leave. Surely there's a better way. Max could have streamlined this entire process if he only used Calensnap. Simply open the app, take a quick photo, and voila! Calensnap takes down all the details for you. It'll even put it in your calendar. Before we get back to Max, let's walk through Calensnap's features. Here, Max is logged into his Calensnap account. He can view his future events as well as those that he had scanned in the past. There is a help menu with instructions as well. And in the settings, users can choose their calendar, suggest changes, and manage their subscriptions. So, how does Calensnap work? After the user chooses or takes a picture, it is uploaded to cloud computing services that process the image. The results are then returned to the device that then extracts relevant pieces of information. If the user deems that there is a mistake, they can correct it themselves. It is then sent to their calendar and the user can safely close the app. The location of the scan is also taken, the purpose of which will be explained later in the video. Max's account has been updated with newly created event. He is a premium adless user, however Calensnap can be also enjoyed for free without an account. Now, let's get back to Max, shall we? This time, Max comes prepared. He has Calensnap installed on his phone. Without giving it any thought, he simply snaps the posters and, seeing how they're correct, adds them automatically to his Google Calendar. Even his friends, who'd normally be annoyed at Max, take interest in the technology. Now he doesn't have to worry about forgetting about it anymore or putting it into his calendar manually. It isn't just students who could be saving times with Calensnap. Our app can also be used in an office environment, for example when scanning work schedules. This is Janice. Janice is an office worker who receives her work schedules on a monthly basis from her boss as she works very flexible hours. Using Calensnap, Janice doesn't have to add every shift to her calendar individually, but can load the whole thing at once with just one snap. As soon as she receives the schedule, she is ready to go. Calensnap's interface lets her check over each event individually to make sure there's no mistakes before she adds it to her schedule. It wouldn't do to be late for work. Even her co-workers are impressed by how quickly Janice gets her schedule organized. And organizing your schedule isn't the only thing Calensnap can help you with. Every snap and its location, as mentioned previously, is recorded in our secure database, which we then use to find poster hotspots. By subscribing to our business account, users can access a heat map of these hotspots and use it to pick the best locations for their own advertisements. This is Mr. Commerce. Mr. Commerce is planning to open a second shop and he'd like to advertise it with posters. There is one problem though. He has no idea where to put them. His intern, however, has access to Calensnap's business account, which allows him to see hotspots of activity in the city. More engagement means more attendees for the store's grand opening, and knowing exactly where to put them means Mr. Commerce saves some paper as well as money by not needing to just try everywhere too. His intern is tasked to hang the grand opening posters around the hotspots. He then makes a report that thanks to our app, the business was able to maximize the number of customers attending the grand opening. So, here's all you've got to do. Sign up for Calensnap using the simple app interface, choose the type of plan, if any, that's right for you, and spend less time planning and more time enjoying yourself at all those events.
I'd be the first to admit that we went down this road really at the beginning for the pure joy of taking on a challenge that was largely thought to be impossible. There was no textbook on how to go and do this. I'm Richard Browning. I am founder and chief test pilot from Gravity, and we build 1,000 horsepower jet engine flying suits.
For the last few years, Browning and his team have tested every possible design and configuration they could come up with, all in an effort to make this a reality.
The origins of the concept were all around some of the inspiration from my early life. I used to fly model gliders and model aircraft with my father. He was an aeronautical engineer. His father was a pilot, so I guess it was in the blood.
But fulfilling his dream of flying required real physical demands, too.
I spent some time in the Royal Marines Reserve, and the time in the military and all the sports I pursued after that taught me a lot about the capability of the human mind and body. I'm no great athlete, but I did learn a lot about how if you focus the human form on a challenge, whether you want to be an ice skater or a gymnast or whatever, it is amazing how this machine can be adapted. I got to the point with this calisthenics bodyweight training where I could support my own weight in a number of different kind of unusual positions, like flags, for instance. And I thought, well, if you just replace that hard structure that I'm holding onto with actually a form of thrust, I can hold my body in any number of different kind of flight positions. So as ludicrous as that sounded, I thought, well, let's just go and experiment with it.
First, he needed to figure out how to stay suspended in the air.
The form of thrust I landed on was gas turbines. Gas turbines are notorious for being very small form factors, extremely aggressive. And one gas turbine weighs 5 pounds and puts out about 50 pounds of thrust.
So, in 2016, Browning started testing different components and variations.
And so having experimented with one, we went to 2 and then went to 4, and it was getting increasingly compelling.
But things didn't always go quite so smoothly.
Through lots and lots of trial and error and constantly failing, to be honest, and learning all the time from those safe fails, we got to a point where we managed to achieve a flight, and that was 2 engines on each arm and an engine on each leg.
But there were basic problems at every stage, starting with the decision to have engines on each leg.
There's a number of interesting challenges with that model. The problems included the engines being only 3 or 4 inches off the ground in terms of the exhaust thrust, the violence of air coming out of those engines at about 1,000 miles an hour and hitting even concrete. You could see a smooth concrete surface would start to become pitted from the sheer violence of that air. And yet, as you move them away, the violence of the velocity drops off. There was also a challenge with having the engines on the legs in that if you happen to vector your arm engines anywhere near the intakes of the lower engine, we realized that your inducted air is going in, and that would then spike the exhaust temperature. You could see a little puff of sparks and the engine would just shut down. So that was another good reason for not having the engines down there. And finally, there's a strange human behavior we learned, which is that when your feet feel the ground has left them, they almost want to pedal and scrabble around looking for where that surface is. That's not helpful when you've got 50 pounds of thrust coming off each leg. And those problems led to the solution of actually moving those engines slowly up the body and then consolidating them into one. And essentially that created a skirt, all at the same altitude in the body, which can be likened to the 3 legs of a tripod. There's thrust coming out of each arm and then essentially a 3rd leg coming out of the back of your body, which provides that uncanny stability. And that's how we learned to fly.
I can step you through what the components are. So you've essentially got an arm mount. Your arm goes inside that aluminium 3D printed tube. You've got a microgas turbine on each side, and you've got the same on the other side, obviously. And round the back, and there's one more engine, which is roughly the power of these two together. On the front here, you've got a lot of the electronic control systems and the batteries, which aren't plugged in here. Those batteries actually run the starter motors and the glow plugs. And then on the sides, you've got a couple of fuel bladders. We've also got a helmet. It's an especially lightweight one. And the extra addition to it is a heads-up display system. So inside there, you can see the lenses, which actually paint over my vision the fuel and engine data. That data gets to the lenses via this little device. That takes a wireless feed from the suit. It shows me everything to do with the engines and everything to do with the fuel, to give me an idea as to how close we are to running out of fuel, for instance.
Last year, Browning set the world speed record for a body-controlled jet suit, clocking in at 32 miles per hour. He says the suit can actually fly much faster and higher than they've ever attempted. But for now, they're playing it safe. That's because even at lower speeds and altitudes, there are still risks.
The fuel is either diesel or jet fuel. They're fundamentally the same fuels. Jet fuel sounds scary, but it's the same kind of stuff as diesel. It's actually not prone to forming vapor clouds. It's not really explosive. In fact, you're really hard pushed to even ignite it. And even if it did burn in an uncontrolled way, you've certainly got probably 10, 15 seconds before it becomes a big fire. Every single time we fly, we have fire extinguishers around the place. In 2 years of doing this, we've never used a fire extinguisher. So I'm not worried, but I have respect for the fire aspect of this. The heat aspect of it, it's funny, but if you get a hairdryer and you press it against your head, you're going to burn your head. Hold it like 2 feet away and it's cold. The specific heat capacity of air is so poor that actually the heat dissipates really quickly. And I've even swiped those engines across my leg with this, heavy cotton flight trousers on. All it did is just slightly singe the very top surface of the fabric. It didn't do anything. So from a heat and fire point of view, it's really not a significant concern, but we manage it.
He's more concerned with falls and collisions.
It's akin to riding a sports motorbike. If you gun that 80, 100 miles an hour around small twisty roads and come off that, it's going to hurt. If I'm 10 feet above the ground and got an engine failure, I simply go downwards. There is no scenario where our system can suddenly, in an uncontrolled way, gain height or shoot off to one side. You simply drop, which is not a good thing. But we've always got to allow for the potential for an extremely unlikely mechanical failure of one of the engines, and then in which case you do fall. That's why we keep the height fairly limited. Speed-wise, we can easily do 35 miles an hour, so we've gone quite a bit quicker in testing. But again, for most of what we do, by the time you've done 35 miles an hour, you've gone a long way away from probably the audience or the area you're flying. So by then you're coming back again. We push the limits a little bit more over water because that's a bit more forgiving if you fell in it.
So Browning's jet suit is no longer just a pipe dream. But what exactly is it for? They recently started custom designing and selling them, but at a price tag of about $440,000 a suit, it's safe to say it'll be out of reach for most. But that could change.
As we improve the efficiency and the ease of use, then there is the potential for, I don't want to say mass transit straight away, but we have developed something that allows you to move human beings around in a completely unprecedented way.
One of the biggest challenges for bringing down cost? Designing suits that are more fuel efficient. This model currently burns about a gallon of fuel a minute. That's one of the reasons they're working on an electric version, and a set of wings that, when deployed mid-flight, would generate lift more efficiently. They're also hoping some competition might spur innovation.
Throughout history, when two human beings have said, I think mine's faster than yours, that does push the envelope. So next year, 2019, we are building out a race series for this.
Yes, a racing series. Think Formula One, but with jet suits.
We've already had several pilots flying. The record so far is 5 minutes of air time. So we can have a bunch of young guys and girls going actually racing 1,000 horsepower jet suits over water to keep it safe, but doing something that only people have seen before really in a Marvel film. And that is going to push the boundaries like nothing before. I think for the immediate future, it'll be entertainment, it'll be inspiring people, and it'll be really fueling the journey on to creating a revolution in human transport.
My name is Richard Browning. I'm the founder and chief test pilot from Gravity, and we build and fly 1,000 horsepower jet suits. I was asked to take part in the Inform Prize and judge the best presentation. I think presentation skills is something that's super valuable. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you don't communicate that powerfully to your customers or your audience, then you just won't get anywhere near as far as if you have those skills really refined. So without further ado, I'd like to announce that Team Bravo's Bumpr has been selected as the winner. It was definitely the most professional and had a real slick delivery of the message. So congratulations and best of luck for the future.